he's a person that since the first time I met him a couple years ago, I've really loved. He's just a great, genuine person. He's that everyman realtor that has built an amazing career just by being himself, and we're going to learn more about, he's not somebody up here that's going to be like, oh, I built this amazing. We'll hear from those people too. I've got 1,000 transactions, and he built it with hard work and so much great things and breaking free from what made him comfortable. So my man John Coleman is an award-winning DC realtor. He's the founder of Coleman Residential. A lot of you know him from the popular Coffee with Coleman segment. Maybe you're one of his thousands and thousands of followers out there. He's closed over $130 million in sales and over 175 transactions in the last year. He launched Coleman Residential. He's in Real's brokerage, and it's one of Real's top 20 teams nationwide. He's known for his smart strategies, engaging neighborhood tours, and viral home walkthroughs. He's going to bring expertise and a fresh perspective to today's conversation. I'm really excited to welcome in my friend, John Coleman. Come on up, buddy. Good seeing you. Good seeing you. Pick your seat. Pick your poison, buddy. All right.
Can you hear this?
Yeah. He said that's his good side. There you go. I don't have a good side, so we're in luck. All right. So, John.
Before we get going, can I
Yes.
jump in? So I get asked to be on stage with brokers quite often, and that's not like to toot my own horn. The reality is my eyes lit up when I had a text from Donnie. The leader of your organization has a massive heart. I've been in conversations with him talking about how much he cares about his agents. I've seen the actions he takes when he shows how much he cares about his agents. And when Donnie calls, you come. And so I am so thankful to be here today and continuing to build a relationship with you and all of your great agents and visitors and guests and everyone. So thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, John. I got a tear to my eye here. This is great. I wasn't expecting that to start. So, John, tell us, I gave a little bit of your bio there, but tell us a little bit about your background, kind of what did you do before real estate? How'd you get into real estate?
Sure thing. So I'm originally from Detroit, Michigan. Do we have any Michiganders in here?
Boo.
Go blue. Go blue.
Now, quick side note. I'm not sure if you saw this or we chatted about it, but my wife Meredith and I, who's here in the crowd, we went to Detroit last year, and it wasn't a good day for the Lions that day.
Oh, yeah.
All Redskins took them down in the playoffs, for those who didn't see that one.
I'm married to a Commander's wife,
all right.
She gave it to me hard enough at that point, so I was used to it.
So go ahead, from Detroit.
So from Detroit, and then I moved out to D.C. with no job. So I answered an ad on Craigslist and ended up taking a job doing door-to-door sales for credit card processing.
That seems easy.
Yeah, everybody wants to talk to you when you're doing that. Really, that was a means to end. Turns out I wasn't good at it, nor did anyone really want to talk to me. But I ended up coming down here. I got in the world of consulting for about 6 years at a company at that point called Corporate Executive Board, or CEB. I did HR consulting. If you start to nod off right now, that is the right reaction to that statement. I hated it, and I was bad at it. And honestly, it showed. Like I was not good at it because it was taking literature and then talking to people and synthesizing it and writing. And reading and writing isn't exactly my strong suit. And so,
thankfully, we don't need that.
We don't need that today. But what ended up happening is I ended up getting fired. And I got let go, and I needed to have a real soul-searching moment at that moment. And it was the best thing that ever could have happened to me. I got a kick in the pants. I got to feel like what it felt like to suck at something. And I never wanted to feel like that again.
I love that.
And so ever since then, I've been chasing the high of finding out what I'm good at and being authentic to myself and doing that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So why did that turn into real estate? Or what attracted you to it?
So I ended up meeting Jason Martin, who I worked with for a long time, and he was looking for somebody to come open doors, be a showing assistant. And he broke down one day on a napkin at a place called Tippy Tacos in Alexandria, like back of the napkin math of
we all want tacos now. That's what happens when you bring that up. Go ahead.
So he broke down on the napkin like the finances of what it would look like to work with him based on his transactions, and I was like, dang, if I make half of that, I'm going to make more than what I'm making right now. So I talked to my wife and I talked to my family, and I think that they were just ready for me to like really dive into something. And so I got the classic, "You'd be so good at real estate. You love people." And I was like, "Oh, that's all it takes. Cool, let's go." And so he brought me in, and then like he just kind of threw me in. Like he was ready to go, and he's like, "You're going to learn by doing." And so I learned a lot by doing fast.
So how many years ago was that?
10 years ago.
Okay. So 10 years ago, so the reason I love that is like started as a showing assistant for Jason, and obviously it grew into so much more, but just started as, I don't know about real estate. I like people like, and there's many people that are maybe not quite there today, but maybe not that much further down that path, and to show that you can grow into something like this by just being authentic, and we'll talk about how you got there, but that's an awesome start. So you just started as a showing assistant and opening doors and figuring it out.
Just kept rolling.
There you go.
Made a lot of mistakes. Luckily, they were his clients at the time, so it's good. But have taken that and really formulated a business in a customer service centric type of way where I feel like I'm giving the highest level of service. And when you dress like I do on a normal basis, your service better be high. So
is this the normal John Coleman?
It is. Yesterday, Donnie got an email being like, "By the way, what do you do? Like, I need to wear a suit or something." And he's like, "No, dude, just dress like yourself."
I said, "Be authentically you. That's what I want."
And then like it was like a teenage girl this morning. I came down the stairs twice in different outfits, and my wife's like, "Up, no, you can't do that one." And so this was the one that finally got taken.
This feels dressed up, actually.
This feels it's seersucker. It feels
you have a
casual,
collar,
but collars are good.
Fantastic. So, I think that we'll get kind of more into your career, but it's funny because it's a good pivot with your outfit talk that we just talked about. What industry cliche did you stop obeying that unlocked kind of your business and your growth, would you say?
It was how I present myself.
Yep.
I allowed myself at some point to shift from trying to be very, very formal to being very authentic to myself. And that doesn't mean sloppy. Sometimes it means sloppy, but it usually does not mean sloppy. It means
There's a difference, right?
Well, we all put on personas, right? And there are agents that are going to outdress me every day of the week. Like I'm never going to be the best dressed. But what I found is I wanted to start to create a little bit more of a persona around being a content creator, because I'm not only an agent, I'm a marketer. I market properties. I want to make sure that that comes across. And so if you see me walking around, I don't have like a satchel or a briefcase or something like that. I have a backpack that's made to carry around camera equipment. So like I'm always just in that mindset of trying to be authentic to what makes me happy and how I want to do it, and making sure that it feels that way as I'm going.
Right. So the camera, the authentic, going around. The next question. Coffee with Coleman. Awesome, right? I love it. It popped up my feed a couple years ago. I was like, what is going on here, right?
Why is this dude yelling at me?
Why is this dude yelling at me? He's always got his arm up in the camera. Coffee with Coleman it's YouTube and whatever, but Instagram's kind of its home, right?
Yes.
How many followers on Instagram right now?
About 44,000.
Yeah, I saw that. I was going to see if you even knew. Sometimes I was like, I don't even know, but 44,000. That's amazing. 44,000 followers. And what do you mostly do with Coffee with Coleman?
So,
I know, but they don't know.
Well,
first of all, what do you do? What makes you think crazy, like, I'm going to do this and people are going to start following it? Like, that's a crazy
I didn't
thought,
know that was going to happen, really. So a couple things. So for anyone that's not on Instagram or hasn't seen my profile ever, there's a lot of agents that do something similar, but I have my own flair of doing house tours with voiceovers. And if you listen to the voiceovers, often they're not even about the houses, which gets a complaint every once in a while. But again, it's authentic to myself. It's what's in my brain that day. There's no way that there's only so many white on white kitchens I can talk about. Like I get really bored if I try to do that. And I loved what you shared before we came upstairs or up on the stage, which was try to take away a couple of things. The reality is I started doing these videos because I went to a conference and was sitting in a seat just like you. I saw someone doing something like I wanted to do. I didn't know at that point, but then I was like, I want to do that. And then by the very next day, I was flying home from Texas. I had shipped a brand new gimbal to my house. And as soon as I got home, I was like, hi, wife, bye, wife. Dropped off my bag, grabbed the box with the gimbal in it, didn't even open it, went to a house and shot my first video.
Really?
And then I got
You were that
5,000
inspired.
views. Oh, yeah. I got 5,000 views in the first one. I was like, and at that point, I was like, this is crazy. And so I was like, okay, let's keep doing this. And the truth is, my adventure with Instagram and doing the tours started far before then.
Okay.
I started a YouTube channel 7 years ago. So I was on a little bit on the forefront of that.
Yeah.
And I was getting a lot of business from that, of relocation, people checking out neighborhoods. And I always edited my own stuff and I kept an eye on it. And so editing video and playing with it had become a passion.
Okay.
And I think that that's something that's often lost on what people see, because they see I have followers and they see that I likely get business from it. And they're like, cool, I should do videos so I can get business and get followers, and that's gonna be great. You don't see that every video is gonna take about 2.5 hours of my time. And I try to post about 5 times a week. Quick math tells you I spend too much time doing videos. I better love it. I better be when I'm at 11:30 with my 2 dogs laying on top of me next to my sleeping wife in bed as I'm like editing the video. I better like it or I'm not going to do it.
Right.
And so I think that's something that's really important. And what I try to convey to people is video for me is a very special thing. And it can be for you too. I think the biggest takeaway I always like to tell is it's about finding a passion that you can align your business with.
Right.
And that's where I've always jumped off. I had a passion for education, so I started YouTube. I had a passion for doing those videos and editing, and so I was able to kind of push that along.
So 5,000 views on the first one, I'm sure you didn't expect. And then it's obviously grown from that. Is there anything along the way other than just being authentic, having the passion? Is there any like tips and tricks for how you built up YouTube or built up Instagram followers through that? Did you do paid advertising or hashtags or hidden secrets or anything special like that?
Dude, I'm from Detroit. I'm cheap. I've never paid for a single push on Instagram. I've tried doing some property. Dustin Fox, you guys all know him. He's happily at home at Samson these days. I follow him closely. I love his YouTube strategy about what he does with that. And we've hashed back and forth. We've gone back and forth over the years about like which one we like more. So I have put some money into that. But Instagram, I've never wanted to put money into that. I wanted that to be very natural, because my feeling is as soon as Mark Zuckerberg knew that I had money to spend, they would expect me to spend it in order to get my views. They would know that I like the high, and they keep trying to be my dealer, trying to do that. So like I wanted to naturally find a way. So if you want to do property view tours too, there's a few things. So one is get a gimbal. They're like $150. I love the DJI. I think even in my link in my bio, there is like an Amazon storefront where I have exactly the equipment that I use. Get a gimbal because it makes it much smoother. You're gonna record everything in 4K, 60 frames per second, and it's going to chew the life out of the memory of your phone. So remember to delete things. I then put things in CapCut. So people want to know how I edit. Yep. I put it in CapCut, and I use speed ramping to make sure that I can get rid of the boring parts and then focus in on the house porn that people actually want to see. So like the money shots, like all that stuff. House
porn. You guys didn't think you'd hear that word when you came to that.
Sorry. Authentic. Okay. I'm authentic.
Hey, we're going to hear much worse, I'm sure. You're great.
And so that is really the recipe. All you need is an iPhone. You don't even need a microphone. I use a microphone for my voiceovers, but you can use the Apple little thing that you plug in and you kind of talk into it. That works generally fine, and I've done that lots of times. So you don't need much. You can do it quickly, and you don't try to be perfect, right?
Yeah.
You're not going to be as good as the ones that I'm making, but that's because I've spent hundreds of hours making videos, maybe thousands of hours at this point making videos.
Right.
So comparison is the thief of joy. Get in there, enjoy the process, record some video, and just put it up.
Yeah.
And then make one little improvement based on what you saw.
Right. And just one step in front of the other, right? It's like, Michael Jordan didn't become a great jump shooter because he just rolled out of bed was a great jump shooter. It's jumper after jumper after jumper, right?
Correct.
He just got much better at video, right?
Yep. Slowly but surely.
And authentically. And you always got to do the point and the hat. This hat, if you follow him, every single video,
So I was telling Donnie, he's like, oh, you wore the hat. I'm like, well, I got to wear the hat because if I don't wear the hat,
I wouldn't know
sometimes
who it was.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
I was at a housewarming party for some clients, and I wasn't wearing the hat because I was like, oh, I'll just go and do all that stuff. And people didn't recognize me. And they're like, oh, I think I've seen your video. So like I kind of make the joke of like, here's the content creator. Here's a generic chubby bald guy. Content creator, generic chubby bald guy. But I pretty much wear this hat or some hat that looks sort of like it in every single video, and it's an anchor. It's so people know my headshot that's in your program, it has that. I come on the stage, I have the hat on. I've kind of tied to the hat now, and it's okay. Like, I don't have hair, so it's cooler anyways.
So your videos, it's evolved into something, obviously, that you have extreme passion for, because the business owner in me would say, at this point, maybe somebody else could edit those videos. You don't have to do that 2.5 hours each time, but you love it, right? So it's a passion. You love doing it, and it's gaining followers. What do you see its value now? Is it to educate? Is it fun to create followers? Does it create business for you? Kind of what's your main goal or main thing that you're getting out of Coffee with Coleman probably right now?
What do you think those 44,000 people are?
Prospective home buyers and sellers?
It's a database, people.
Yes.
I have a database.
Bad answer, Donnie. I should have got that, right?
And you're actually spot on. It's just
you have a better
wording matters.
Yes.
It's a database. So now when I put something out, I have a database that has actively elected to follow me, and I try. Anyone ever see the movie The Social Network? This is our second Mark Zuckerberg reference. This is the last one.
We're all going to be like bombarded after this. We've been talking about Zuckerberg too much.
So I always love the scene where they're sitting down and they're talking about early on of like adding in advertisers. And Sean, the guy that came in that was played by Justin Timberlake, was like, don't do it. You're gonna ruin it. You're going to ruin the party if you do it. And so I never wanted to ruin the party. I wanted to keep it very much like, I don't do tours for money. Like, people have offered me money. That's not where I make my money.
Sure.
I want to make sure that stayed really good. And in the mindset of Gary Vaynerchuk, I don't know if you guys follow him, but he's got the book, Jab, 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 Right Hook. My videos and tours are jabs. They are giving people something that they want to latch onto, they follow. And then every once in a while, and if you follow me, you're going to see it coming up in the next day or two, I'll say, by the way, I'm hosting a home buyer session coming up next week. If you want to, just comment session in the comments and I'll send you a link. And every time I've done that, I've had about 30 to 40 people sign up for my home buyer seminars.
That's awesome.
And so that's powerful.
Yeah.
And everyone I've done this for about 3 years now. The first year, everyone assumed I was getting a bunch of business out of it.
Right.
I wasn't getting that much business out of it. My friends thought I was really cool because I had followers.
Sure.
But I wasn't getting as much business.
Your clout was big.
But as it's kind of snowballed.
It's a word with the high schoolers now.
Exactly. Not clout. My riz was up. And so as we kind of moved along, I've gotten a lot more calls, and I can definitively say now, like, I get a good amount of business from doing Instagram.
Fantastic stuff, and it wasn't the goal. It was just to kind of create something, and now it's obviously a churner of business. And you could turn that dial up, but you want to have the appropriate amount of excitement and pressure, but don't ruin the party, right? All right, what's the most expensive decision you keep making out of habit, and how will you kill it?
This is like a sideways answer to it. The most expensive thing that I have been doing is ignoring my health. I try very hard to lose weight. It runs in my family that like we have diabetes and heart disease and stuff like that. And I kind of do these. I'm sure there's other people that are in the audience. Like sometimes, like someone will come up to me like, "Hey, it looks like you lost weight." I'm like, "It depends on when you saw me last." And so
this week, yes,
I've started to focus a lot more on that recently to make sure that I can give myself the health to enjoy whatever wealth I'm able to accumulate over time.
There you go. you set up that rhyme ahead of time?
It happened in real time.
It's the content creating. That's because you got the hat on. If not,
That'd have been lame.
all right. So, I see my man John all over the place, and there's a rumor that you were published in the Washington Post at some point. What was that all about?
Good research.
I
got an article written about me in the Washington Post. Like, how fun is that? They reached out to me last year, and I was very skeptical because they started reaching out around the same time that the commission stuff was changing. I was like, I don't really want to comment on this stuff.
I'm going to stay out of the cover, so nobody talk to me about this.
But then I ended up talking on the phone with a guy, and he ended up saying, I think we should do an article. Like, I can't promise you what's going to end up out of it, but, like, let's sit down. So we went to a couple different coffee things. Then he brought a photographer in to, like, watch me do my thing, which, looking at pictures of it now, looks really lame from afar. It looks cool through the camera, but not while you're watching me do it. But I had a chance to be on there, and I didn't know as many people read the Washington Post, but what happened last year when that got released, like, even my friends, like, across the country, like, John, you were in the Post. And so that's one of those, like, amazing moments that you never thought was going to come about. And for Christmas, I got it framed as a gift for my wife, and it sits up in our bedroom above our bed. Not really. No, it's in the office.
You got me with that one. That was good. That was good. I wasn't ready for all of that. That's fantastic. That's a cool experience, right? One of those.
Never could have imagined it.
Yeah, not a couple years ago. The guy that started as a showing assistant a few years ago, and now you're 44,000 followers, crushing it, and in the Post.
Tippy tacos to the front page.
Tippy's tacos to the. It really that hat does make you smarter. I think it works. All right, so you had this. This was an idea of a John question, but I thought it was fun. Momentum is a key component of success. All right, so let's take it away for a minute. You're required to move to somewhere new. Texas, where you know nobody and got to start from scratch. What's the first thing you do? How do you build your business again?
I wanted this question because I wanted to make sure that I shared something that would be somewhat actionable for everybody in the audience. Whether you're kind of stuck in a rut, I can do that sometimes too, or you're just starting out fresh. And so I pictured myself going back to Michigan. Probably not Detroit. The sales prices are not too high. You got to go to some of the neighborhoods right outside. I would join the team. I would interview probably about 5 or 6 teams, and I would join the team, not because I necessarily need their leads, but I want the support of knowing the market, and I want the support of learning the contract and some of the intricacies of what that market is. If I tried to jump into real estate by myself as a solo agent, I would have failed miserably.
Right.
I owe Jason so much for showing me the way along the way. From there, I would concentrate on doing videos, obviously. So I would start grinding away on that right away.
Coffee with Coleman's taken, so you need a
Coffee with Coleman would be instantly launched, and I would probably double down because I wouldn't be doing anything else because I didn't have any business yet. So I would be really doing it. I would be doing YouTube. I would be exploring YouTube in a way of someone that just moved to this area for the first time and exploring it and learning it for myself and sharing that journey. Because I think that people are going to really resonate with that.
Sure.
And the other thing I would do is join as many social things that fill my cup as much as possible. I personally I don't go to church. My wife goes to church. I wouldn't want to like make that into my thing of like trying to generate business. But one of the things that I'm doing coming up is I am going to start organizing these walks through some of the cool little parks around DC. I'm going to advertise it to my client base and some of the people on Instagram to come join me as a professional that knows the area, teaches us stuff. I get to do it. I like to go outside and do all this stuff, so I'm a nerd with this stuff, and I love getting that stuff and learning the history of DC. And then I get to create those and foster those relationships. So finding moments like that is how you build your database.
Right.
Right? Like that's how you have to do it. You want to make connections. If you don't have connections, you have to find general interests, but those interests have to be interesting.
Those are great actionable tips because I think a lot of people, maybe they haven't moved to the area, but they feel that void of like, how do I get going? Great, John's got a great story, but like, what would he do? So that's a great question, and it's interesting you say join a team, and I don't push anybody towards teams or away from teams, but I think that's super helpful because as a broker, and I'm sure you worked for great brokerages along the way, and I know some of them, and as a broker, you can only do so much, right? And as a manager, you can't do, but to join a team where you've got that day-to-day tackling, blocking and tackling, where you're learning the contract, you're learning how to do things, you're learning the flow of stuff. And yeah, you don't get all the money you're sharing with the team, but the value's worth it, right? That's how you build that education. That's how you get into an area. So
it's a paid internship.
Yeah.
A very well paid internship, by the way.
Yeah. No, and people always think about what they're losing, not what they're gaining when they join that team, right? They're like, I got to give them 20, 30, 40% or whatever. Well, yeah, but what are you gaining, as part of that?
And I'll be honest with people, like if they were asking me, I'd say I eventually want to start doing my own thing, but I want to foster and create relationships, and I think I have a lot to add to your team, and I think that your team seems like it could be a fit, and you're going to make some money off of me, and we'll have a great relationship.
Yeah, and for those that are interested, there's lots and lots of teams out there, and maybe you're out there and you're like, you want to join a team because you've got some experience, but you need that camaraderie, you need that building. Like, those are all great things we can help you with, obviously, at Samson or wherever you're at. So, good stuff there. When it comes to your success, you're often looked at as a mentor now, and you've kind of gotten to a really cool point in your career. Are there some tips that you have that you think, and you've been dropping a lot of them on us, but are there some tips that you would give realtors that maybe they're messing up, that they're not getting their eye on the ball, or some tips that you might give realtors now that would make them become more successful in the future?
Always remind yourself why you're doing what you're doing. And I don't only mean that as like, find your why. I'm sure we're all been in classes, like find out your why. That's very important. We are real estate professionals. This is a very, very easy business to get into. All of us did our 60 credit hours. Good job.
Don't get me started on that.
Harder to stay in. And I believe, and I know, and I would never call anybody out for this, but there are some agents, and we all know them, that I don't feel like they're doing right by their clients. Like they're in it to sling as many deals as possible, and they might be making decisions that aren't in the actual best interest of their clients. If you are always focused and ask yourself, is this the best interest of the person I'm working with, even if it means that you don't get to close a deal or something like that, that goes a long way. And so we're all always under fire. We're one of the easiest punching bags, along with attorneys, of the consumer and car salesman. And making sure that we hold and put our heart on our sleeves and making sure that we're acting in the right way is the best thing you can do, and it will pay you off in spades.
That's huge, and I heard this term the other day, and some people have probably heard it before, but, you're kind of getting at this, but clients can smell commission breath, and if you're just in it you like that, right? And commission breath, that's powerful. Feels bad though, right? You instantly think back, like, have I ever had commission breath? And I hope not. And that's kind of, I think, similar to the point that John's landing there, is if you're authentic and you're real and you're always looking out what's best for your client, not what's best for your own pocketbook or building your business or slinging transactions, then I think you'll end up on the right path, right? You're going to have loyal, great clients that will love you and turn into friends and referral sources and all those things. But if you've got commission breath and you're just about getting the commission or getting that deal and on to the next one, it's going to show in your business, And
I have a bad memory. It's like a goldfish, which is sometimes good. But if you lie, you have to try to keep up with your lies, and I wouldn't be able to do it. So if you tell the truth, it makes it much easier.
Yeah. If you never lie, you don't have to remember the lies you told, right?
Like when you're in the business for 10 years, or not even as long as that, you start to have your repeat clients. And like, how often is it that we're walking through and they're like, remember when we bought and you said this? I'm like, that was pretty smart. I don't have to use that one.
You reminded me. It used to be smart. I should bring that back. All right, this is off script, but we're getting near the end here. Last question is, so future of real estate, and I didn't prepare John for this at all, but where do you think we're doing? We all hope that the interest rates slip a little bit and we get some more buyers out there, but what do you kind of see as far as the future, next couple months, years? Do you think that AI becomes more of a part of it? Do you think we're in a buyer's market, seller's market? Kind of whatever you see as important as the future, next 6 months, next couple of years, what are you seeing?
Well, I'm glad that you asked this today because I updated my entire database, or everybody that's in my prospect line with my thoughts.
Okay. So you have thoughts.
I do have thoughts.
We could be in his database right now. This is exciting.
I mean, follow me and you are.
Dang it, I'm probably going to get his update soon.
I think that I'm more bullish. So I work a lot in D.C. So a lot of the stuff is in D.C. I am in Maryland and Virginia quite often. I'll go where the deal is. Like I follow it. I smell it out.
As long as you don't have commission breath when you get there.
I mean, I got something under contract in Odenton right now. Like that's far. But the DC market itself, I am more bullish on it than I have been in a long time. DC took it on the nose pretty heavy, pretty early.
Struggling. Yeah.
And it's actually interesting to kind of watch because I feel like I've been operating in a market that's different than Virginia and Maryland for the last little bit. Like those ones have been on fire. And those markets feel like they're chilling out a little bit. Am I right? Yeah, okay, I'm getting nodded heads. So those markets are chilling out. And I'm starting to see some of those agents kind of like throwing their hands up in the air because their properties aren't selling in one weekend. I'm like, is this something new? I don't know.
Right.
So like I feel like DC kind of got me used to that because I had to start getting ready for that market and changing how I did things.
Sure.
Conversations with your clients, whether it's your sellers or your buyers, are so important right now, and you have to know the data. And I don't let people push me around on price anymore. If they will not go with the price that I think that they should list their house at, I don't take the listing. Like I might lose it. Like my viewpoint is I get to either piss you off now or I get to piss you off in 6 months from now, and it's a lot more complicated at that point.
Yeah.
And there was markets where I'd be like, I'll take it. Maybe it sells. It'll be fine. No, not interested. If you're not willing to do what you need to do, I don't think I should be willing to do what I need to do to get the property sold. And even then,
that's powerful, and that's hard for realtors to do. And we can all act like, oh yeah, we do. Most of us wouldn't, right? But you can either have one hard conversation and move on and give up prospective business, or you can have 120 days of misery. And it saps your energy. It saps your will to be successful when you have those sellers that are frustrated. And you could see it at the beginning, and I'm sure you got to this point because you've had the people that you used to say yes to, and you're like, this is no good. It's no good for my business, my mental health, my everything. Everything just sucks the air out of you when you have an awful seller.
Yeah, and it all comes from conversations. Don't be afraid when somebody doesn't pick you to work with you, if it's a buyer or if a seller ends up firing you or picks somebody else. I'm always super curious, and it's not in a way of being like combative. Right. Like I tell them that I respect their decision. I thank them for the opportunity to interview for the position to work with them, and I'm glad that they found a choice. And by the way, I'm always looking to improve my business. Is there things that stood out for the other person or something that I said that maybe made them feel like the better fit? And I had that in an exit interview. I do exit interviews when I'm getting kicked off a listing. And the woman
I'm
said,
normally like, don't talk to me ever again. No,
and like this one woman, her name is Carol. She was wonderful and nice and sweet. But she's like, I just don't feel like you hustle. I'm like, oh shit. And so like, and in the conversation we kept going. And what I realized is I didn't have the stomach leading up to that point to have the hard conversation about like, if you're motivated, we need to drop the price. And if we don't drop the price, then I'm probably not the right person for the job. And really put the pressure on, because what happens? I had the property for $560. She fired me and then got another agent that was listed it for $510. I was the warm-up agent. Like I got, and like she listened to everything the other agent said because I failed at the number she wanted.
Right.
So if I would have been more bolsterous and telling her what I wanted to do, it would have been better. And if I was telling her what I wanted to do, our communication would have been much more open the entire way.
Sure.
Because at some point I felt like, well, we're not going to change it. I'm not going to keep doing open house. Like you start to have that drift.
Yeah.
And if I'm not helping them get it sold no matter what it takes, I'm not doing my job.
Right. No, that's great advice. That's great advice. So have the conversations, have the hard ones. Be ready. Looks like the future hopefully is bright, for all of us. But, John dropped some great tips. And I loved this one-on-one. And what I wanted to hear from you all to hear from John is that, he built it from nothing. And it's being authentic, being himself. He didn't try to be somebody else at any other point. He just tried to be the best John that he could be. And it's led to amazing success. So thank you, John, so much for dropping your knowledge on us here.
Thank you.
That was great.
I forgot to say at the beginning,
yes.
the part where you could text in questions. Did we? We probably didn't get it.
We do have some questions.
Okay, fantastic.
So thank you
good.
so much. So we do have a couple questions. The first one I love. So John, you said you have 44,000 followers basically in your database, right? So have you, and if so, how, have you captured their phone, emails, et cetera, in an actual CRM in case the house of Zuckerberg collapses?
That's correct, and that is a very good thing. I follow a couple people pretty regularly, and there is a big movement of like, how do you make sure that you have the information for people? And I do that in a handful of ways. One of them is, I said it, like I host the first-time homebuyer classes, right? So they have to go to the Eventbrite and they fill that out. Every single property I put up too, I have something called mini chat, where if you see like people comment the thing, like comment listing, and then I'll DM them a listing, and then it gives them the option to sign up from there. I don't automatically make them sign up for it because I feel like that's cheesy and that would piss me off. So I don't want to make them mad. But it does eventually ask them if they want to do it, and if they want to, I collect emails that way, and so I go from there.
Give them something of value back.
Always
to sign up. Like
if you're asking for anything without
homebuyer
value,
guide or listing it from like something. Right.
something to kind of draw that information out, where they're giving you permission to then reach out.
That's awesome. Failure is a great motivator and a great teacher, right? What do you think is the most impactful fail up that you have ever done before? A big failure that changed the way that you did a system or a technology or a process?
I don't think anybody asked that question. I think Sarah made it up. But go ahead.
How did I fail up? I mean,
feels like a Sarah
That feels like a Sarah question?
Yeah.
Naturally, getting fired from that job was a pretty big fail. Like that wasn't a good thing to tell my girlfriend at the time. But in terms of business, we're always trying to implement new things. Like I'm always tinkering. Like I'm always in the back room tinkering. And as soon as I get any sense that something is not feeling or vibing right with clients, I pull it off. I can't think of an exact scenario right now, but we're constantly changing our
being willing to
SOPs.
accept
But being
when
right
something's
and
not
pivot when you
working
need to, right?
and
Yeah,
pivoting.
you
Right.
need to be quick.
I'm
So-
sure there are things along the way with Coffee with Coleman that you're like, this doesn't feel like it's working, and you've pivoted to like a
Pull
different way
back,
to
go
do
this
it.
direction,
Right.
pull back, try this.
Good.
Yep.
Right, awesome. What do you do to refresh your soul?
Oh.
Because you sound like you grind all the time. You've got a lot of balls in the air. What do you do to refresh you?
I've been walking a lot recently. Like I feel like this is like my moment where like I turned 40 last year. I know I look older than 40. It's fine. It's
32 maybe, John. 32. With the hat on like 27.
I like going around and exploring things. I love going, like I drove out to the Shenandoah recently and did the Skyline Drive for the first time. I went to Kingman Park in DC. I'd never done that. I've gone to Rock Creek Park. I love getting out in nature. I like to bring my dogs if possible. And I really like to travel. So like I do travel a fair amount. I really churn my credit card points. I know Dave Ramsey said that's bad, but I do good with it.
I like me a good credit card point too.
Oh, yeah.
I'm with you on that. Your home buyer workshops, do you do them just locally or do you do them online as well?
I did them online during COVID, and that was great. But after a while, COVID people stopped wanting to be on Zoom, right? Like they're on Zoom all day. They don't want to get on Zoom and see this guy. So I ended up, I started doing them in person, and then I've moved back to doing them in person. I purposely don't do them at an office space. I will do it I'm doing it at Busboys and Poets in DC next week. I do it at bookshops. I try to go where people kind of find themselves.
Places with character.
Places with character, but also places that will help me advertise. Because like that's important too.
Yeah.
Like if they're like, hey, we're hosting this thing, I then get to tap into their database as well. And so then I'm automatically assumed to be a good, my wife spends enough money at that bookstore where we're good stewards of that bookstore. But that's kind of the way.
So that's a great lead generating idea along with your videos. What do you think is the next biggest lead generation strategy that you employ in your business?
I'm gonna be relaunching YouTube because I feel like we've kind of gotten to a spot where it's actually chilled out a lot. Like everybody was doing it for a hot second and now they got bored with it. And so I'm gonna get back into that. But really, I don't have like a creative new thing as much as like what I was saying. Like I was working on my schedule yesterday. I was reaching out to people that can do tours of Kingman Island in DC. And I am then gonna make a video that I'm gonna send out to my network first to see who wants to come with that. And I want to make that a little bit of a series. Like I want to not only do Kingman Island, we can do the National Arboretum. We can come over to Maryland and do stuff too. But finding different opportunities to have people come out and meet me where I'm at with stuff that I'm doing, so I can replenish my soul. I don't have to talk about real estate, but I can also continue to enjoy the company of people, and they get to see me in just my going and hanging out phase.
That's great. Last question. If you had a brand new agent standing in front of you today who wanted to launch their business for the first time, or maybe even someone that has been in business for a while but needs to really make an impact and just go out and kill it, best piece of advice you could give them for one actionable nugget?
Call and talk to everybody you know.
Excellent.
It's too easy for people to not call their own database, and it's often where your first transactions are going to come from. And people, they don't have the confidence yet, and you need to get over that. So call the people in your database.
I just heard get over yourself.
Get over yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
People spend tens of thousands of dollars to talk to strangers they don't know that aren't going to trust them, and you have free things sitting in your phone.
Absolutely. Wonderful. Well, John, thank you so much for spending time with us
Let's
this
hear it for
morning.
John Coleman, everybody.